Hey everybody, so welcome all of you guys to, I don't even know what we call this. I'm Christel Crawford, first of all. Welcome to this call. We called it, Are the Ghosts Speaking to You? It's our first free sort of offering around this topic of Talk to the Entities. I haven't really done anything yet so far. Let me just make sure. I just sort of started. We didn't do a clap. If you're a translator and I'm leaving you behind, please tell me.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Awesome. All right. So Claudia, are you recording on the other line and translating?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Yes, there will be a replay. Okay, great. So wow, where do we even start with this? A few of you sent in questions, which I was really grateful for because that gave me a place to start. I'd like to invite you to ask questions. We do only have an hour together, so it'll, it's not tons of time, but it's some time. And if you could, so if you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can put it in the chat if that works better for you. Please don't message me privately because I won't be able to respond to you, but I do have the chat open so that I can see it. So if you don't want to unmute, you can put your question there. So the topic of entities is, of course, a huge one. And for me, really boils down to what have you not yet been willing to claim and own as a capacity that you have as a capacity that if you were willing to claim and own it would create total clarity, total ease, and more freedom for you and everybody than you've yet been willing to choose. And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So I'm gonna go back here and look at a few questions that somebody sent in as a starting point. Eloise, your questions. Oh, and I saw you wave too. Hi. Okay, cool. So Eloise wrote in and said, I feel so blessed that I can join your talk and I've been excited since last week. I'm grateful. So my questions are, what would it take for me to attend your Talk to the Entities training? Good question. The second question is, I find doubt creeps in for me, especially with entities. Does this get better with time or is there more to clear? Okay. One of my favorite things about the entity world, the spirit world, is that it requires of us to strengthen awareness, to strengthen knowing, to strengthen being, to strengthen perceiving, and to strengthen receiving, which are the higher harmonics of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and no sex and sex. And in Access Consciousness, we talk a lot about being and knowing and perceiving and receiving, and we want to apply them, so we think, until we find out we're committed to being right. But what I love about the work of Talk to the Entities is that you cannot communicate with unseen things with seen things. You have to be willing to use your first language, which is energy. And so how many of you cut off your ability or your awareness of your ability to communicate with and as energy? Wow, everything that is times a godzillion, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, for those of you guys that are pretty new to the tools of Access Consciousness, I'm going to be using the clearing statement, and I won't be explaining it. But if you'd like an explanation, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and that's that crazy thing I say, right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because what we want to do in every conversation that we have around any topic, even entities, is clear the space for you to be able to be, so that you can be as aware as you are, so that you can be the potency and the power that you are, instead of at the effect of your awareness, which is where most of us have been taught to put ourselves. So how many of you are putting yourselves at the effect of what you're aware of, instead of being willing to be the dominant entity that would transform any energy? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, doubt is a distractor implant. And of course, we don't have time to go into the whole foundation class in one Zoom. But if you are curious about distractor implants, you want to buy the book. Well, you want to take a foundation class, number one, and I have lots around the world. You also want to buy the book, Living Beyond Distraction. And I don't know how many languages it's in, but there are quite a few. And you want to study that. A distractor implant is meant to put your attention on something you cannot handle. So when you are doing doubt, doubt is not something that happens to you, it's something you choose. But it doesn't feel like a choice because it's so automatic. Like it just, like automatically you're just doubting, or automatically you're just angry, or automatically you're just jealous. It's like, it feels like it happens to you. But it's actually an unconscious choice you make to take yourself out of being aware. So how many distractor implants are you using to never be as aware as you are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So if doubt is one of the things that you do around entities, is it a choice you make around other things too? So the thing I love so much about any facet of your life, whether it's money or entities or business or people, is that wherever you're struggling with one of those things is where you are doing that same thing with everything. If you're doing doubt with unseen entities, you are also doing doubt with everything else that's great about you that's unseen. You're also doing doubt with your abilities with money. You're also doing doubt with your abilities with people. You're also doing doubt with your abilities, period. So how much doubt are you using to never be aware of how great you are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So doubt puts your attention on something you can't handle. What you can handle that you refuse to handle is what you are actually able to choose. How many choices do you have available to you to transform and transmute any energy that you've refused? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So one of the flip sides of doubt is belief. Well, I don't believe it. I can't see it, so I don't believe it, so I doubt it's real. Which is true, or the reason and justification to never be aware. Can any of you prove your awareness? Yes or no? So if you can't prove it, does that mean you don't have it? Or does that mean other people can't validate it? And is it the validation that you've been looking for in order to choose it? How much validation how much need for validation are you using to eliminate the choice to be you? Are you choosing? Wow, everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So well, the question was, I find doubt creeps in for me, especially with entities. Does this get better with time, or is there more to clear? So the cool thing to know about doubt is that every time you're doing doubt, you can know that you have another choice. But you've got to now practice going, okay, I'm doing doubt again. And this is one of the ways that I have out-created everywhere I've been functioning that doesn't work for me anymore, is I start to insert into my world the awareness that what I'm doing is a choice. So one of the ways I do that is I go, like with doubt, I do, oh, I'm doing doubt again. I'm doing it again. I'm not being it. It's not a disease. I'm not at the effect of, I'm not being victimized by doubt. I'm doing it. And that's a huge, huge key to changing doubt in your world, is recognizing that you're doing it. People go, well, I fell into a pile of doubt, or there's different ways of saying it that sounds like, you just were walking along the street and fell into a hole, I fell into a doubt hole. Well, for you to fall into a hole in the middle of the street, you have to have been closing your eyes. So it's that question of, what choice did I make that created this? And so the way I apply that is, I'm doing doubt again. Okay, if I wasn't doubting, what would I know? Now, the thing about knowing is nobody can validate that for you. In fact, most people are not willing to be as aware as you are. So how much awareness do you actually have that you haven't yet cultivated the awareness of? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you guys have a question as I'm going, just unmute yourself and interrupt me, because otherwise I'll just keep talking. I'm a bulldozer. Cool. All right. Yes, please, please, please.
Can you say that again, please?
I don't know. What was it?
The doubting.
No.
Okay, I'll listen.
No, but what I do really recommend you guys do with these 1 hour freebie Zooms, like we as facilitators, we can't shut up. And there's so many tools in here, like go back and listen to them and take notes, because there's so much in here that if you would apply it and run loops and create loops for yourself and take notes, and that would change your life. So yeah, you'll get the recording and you can do that.
Can I ask a question about doubt?
Please.
So, can you say something about what if the doubts that you're doing, what if they're somebody else's?
Oh,
what if you're just aware of other people's doubts, and underneath all that, you know perfectly well what you want and what you want to do?
Well, then what do you do when you know it's someone else's? What do you do?
Well, what do you ask to know the difference, whether I'm doing the doubt or?
So, wait, so what are you asking me? Are you asking me what do I do with the doubt that I have about the doubt that isn't mine?
No. How do I know the difference when I'm doing doubt, or when I'm just aware of a lot of people doing doubt? Because when I'm doing doubt, I can change it and choose something else. And I think in some areas, I've been doing a lot of doubt for a very, very long time. And at the same time, I'm also aware of a lot of other people's stuff that I cannot really change, right?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
This is key number 1 from the 10 keys to total freedom, you guys.
Yeah, I started the book.
Good. Who am I talking to, by the way?
Jeanette from Portugal.
Jeanette, hi. So, so would an infinite being do doubt, yes or no?
No.
Are you an infinite being?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So is it ever yours?
No.
That's good information. Now that doesn't mean you won't sometimes choose to pick it up and do it anyway. It's like we don't always choose to function like an infinite being. Many, many times we choose to function like a finite being. That's what we're shown, that's what we've practiced, that's what we like, we're holding on to, that we don't want to admit we're holding on to. So that's all true, and that's okay. But that key is like huge, because if an infinite being wouldn't do doubt, for what reason am I? What am I trying to accomplish by choosing doubt? You might discover that you are trying to accomplish something. We don't really choose things that we think are stupid. We only choose things that are valuable to us in some way, but we don't necessarily allow ourselves to know the value.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So how much doubt are you using to never be aware are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, Carrie said, I can feel entities strongly around me sometimes, but I'm not sure what to do next. I don't know what they are trying to convey to me. So the basic entity tools are 3 prongs. It's communicate, clear, and receive. Now, the thing about energetic beings is they don't communicate like beings with bodies. And I need a muter. Whoever's got bad music in the background, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So clear, communicate, and receive. Now, so the thing I do when I become aware of other beings, and for all of you, your awareness of entities is going to show up totally different than it shows up for me. My awareness of entities now can show up as very, very intense headaches, as sort of a foggy fog over my eyes, as intensities in my body. Many times if I have an entity in my body, I'll immediately start acting like somebody. I'm like, who is this? Doesn't make any sense. So entity awareness shows up really different for all of us. But as you are entering into this conversation, you'll begin to recognize how it shows up for you. And so when it shows up, I just ask, and this is what you have to do, is like, what's required here? Is it required to clear, communicate, or receive? Is a great question. And a lot of times for me, I'll start with clearing. I walk through so many airports and so many countries, and like Sao Paulo is one of the most intense countries for entities so far. And so I just put my attention on the whole city and go, hey, all you guys that don't have a body yet, did you know you don't have a body? And there will be this immediately like lift in the energy all over the city. And then I go, the rest of you that want to go, truth, who are you? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, what's your job? Truth, what was your job before that? Truth, what was your job before that? Truth, what was your job before that? And truth, who will you be in the future? And you can take your magnetic imprinting and you can go now, right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. If there's entities around me that haven't left, aren't going anywhere, I just start talking with them and just going, hey, what's up? One of the things that I ask is are you here to contribute? And you can just go, are you here to contribute, and get a yes or no. If they're here to contribute, you can just lower all your barriers and be with them. That's receiving. Receiving is being with them. Just let them be with you. If they have something they want to say to you and it's going to come through all in one, like they don't do time and they don't do linear communication. So it's just going to be this download, as if you were standing in front of like an autistic kid that can't speak. They're going to try to tell you everything with like just the energy of it. And so if it's too fast and it's clear there's an energy there, like they want to communicate, but you're not getting it, you can ask them to slow down so that you can get it. And then see what shows up. Like sometimes they'll communicate in a picture, sometimes there will be a word, sometimes, it's going to show up in a different way. And the key to all of this is getting that you are one of the only people on the planet that's willing to even have the awareness of these beings. So what will you be with that? And what do you require to facilitate in order to have ease? We are the facilitators of the unseen world, whether we want to know it or not. And so you are facilitating them having the ease they require, and also you having the ease you require. It's very similar to having children. They can demand of you. And when you need 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour to yourself, you need to let them know that, I get that you want to sleep with me every single night, but you have your own bedroom and it's time to go in there. Sometimes that conversation is required. So that's where you have to be willing to like be the dominant entity in your life and in this space and go, well, what's required here? What do I need to choose? What's available to choose? And what else is possible? Basically being that to be able to transform and transmute whatever is occurring. So how many of you have put yourself at the effect of the energies you are aware of? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. Instead of becoming aware and going, well, what is this? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And how can I change it? And being those questions.
Just a moment.
Siri thought I was talking to her.
We have a question in the Spanish chat,
Yes, please. Please
and
do.
it says, when you talk about entities
Mhm.
in the dreams, can I change that reality? Because when I see them, I paralyze.
Hmm. Paralyzed is the only thing in that had any energy. So I would ask, for what reason would she choose to be paralyzed? And while you're relaying that, Claudia, let me talk about fear, because fear is another distractor implant. Fear puts your attention on something that you can't handle. So all of the distractor implants of fear and doubt that you're using to take yourself out of being, that you're choosing, will you please revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that, and reclaim your ability to be as potent as you refuse to be. Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So again, with key number 1 in the 10 keys to total freedom, would an infinite being choose to be paralyzed? Yes or no? If no, I'm choosing it for what reason? What am I trying to accomplish by being paralyzed? Because there's always something we think that choice is going to create, or that choice has become an automatic pilot system in our body, and it's just something we've chosen over and over and over, and we've never brought any consciousness to, hey, what am I choosing here? For what reason would I choose to be paralyzed, for fuck's sakes? You know, we've never asked ourselves that question. We just assume we're a victim. So how many of you have assumed that you're a victim of what you're aware of? Of course I am. It's a fact. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So Claudia, let me know if there's more there for her.
No, we're okay.
Okay, cool, thank you. Kitty said, I had a facilitation session with Shannon. We were looking for the capacity behind a walk. It says a walking difficulty, but I wonder if that's a walk-in difficulty. Kitty, can you clear that for me? Clear that up. I had a session.
Walking,
Walk-in?
like
Like walking.
assisted walking. I need assistance, yeah.
Okay. And it came up with that I have a capacity of hosting multiple entities in my body. Can this be cleared, or how can I function with this? Of course, everything is clearable. Everything is changeable if you're willing to be that energy. So what refusal, I'm just going to do this for everybody. What refusal to be the dominant entity are you using to eliminate choice? Are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. You are never at the effect of anything that's going on unless you put yourself there. You are never at the effect of any entity, any capacity, any other person, any other energy, unless you put yourself there. So if you are putting yourself in positions where you feel powerless, where you don't know what to do, where you're like, you know, having that victim thing going on, you've got to look at, what's the value of choosing that for me? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Joseph?
Hi,
Hi.
I have a question. I have been doing talk to the entities since a few years now,
Yeah.
and my awareness has been growing and growing and growing, and I do acknowledge that my potency too. I still shut down myself to not be aware. When you're talking about not being at the effect of my awareness, I sometimes just go in the hole of, I'm aware of many things. I'm aware of intensities. Sometimes it's entities. Sometimes it can be the earth. And I just go into that for, let's say, hours. And then I become aware of it and I can change it. What can I ask for me to be at ease with all that, to have more ease with all that?
Well,
I mean, 2 or 3 days ago, there was the full moon. I didn't know before access that I could feel the energy of the full moon. And for 3 or 4 days, I cannot sleep. I will be full of energy because it's just running.
okay.
And
For what? So here's the thing that I see, like, so you can't sleep because of whatever. We could say it's full moon, but we would be, okay.
Yeah.
So you can,
Okay.
so what? So you need to sleep then at that same time for what reason?
Okay.
So like,
I'm not especially tired.
And for what reason is that any kind of a problem? Why would you not just, and this is just to really look at where are you functioning from form and structure and significance, when what you could be just choosing is the exploration of what's humanoid embodiment. Is humanoid embodiment the same as human embodiment?
Okay.
And not that that would have occurred to you, but using your question to sort of extrapolate on the possibilities of what you could explore instead of what you make wrong.
Oh.
And so for all of you guys to know, like, human embodiment and humanoid embodiment are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. We are not the same creature. So how many of you have been trying to make yourselves into the humans you think you should be instead of exploring the humanoid you actually are? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, on the insurance, boys and beyonds. And humanoid implies human looking. That's it. We just look like humans. Kind of. Not really. Some of you look like fairies. Some of you look like gnomes. Others of you look like leprechauns. Sometimes your humanoid faces are very much more obvious than your human faces. So Josette, I would just be more curious about, my need for things to stay the same when my reality may be that things are always different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, things are always different for me. And now I'm more noticing it.
Cool. Yeah, cool. And every access class you take and every process you run and every book you read, like, is going to open up your awareness to what's really true for you. And it will challenge you to go, hey, what are you going to do with this new information? Okay, I don't really need to sleep for 4 days, apparently, when the moon is doing this thing. Oh, what do I want to do with that? How many books can I write? Like, I guess the house is going to get really clean. How many other businesses can I start? Like, if nothing was ever wrong, then what could you use that energy for?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christel, we have a question on the Turkish chat. Shall I go ahead, or?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I hope it's not going to echo. There are a few actually, and one is saying she's 46 years old, but she has like childlike spirit on herself. She says it's not hers, but on herself, because certain times she acts like a child, and she has this childlike spirit, and she has taken the talk to the entities class, but that doesn't it doesn't go away with the processes that she's doing, and it is an energy that covers her face, and she feels it on her heart. And what can she do about that?
Well, ask her first if she's willing to be the dominant entity, yes or no. And I got the response. Like,
Okay, I told your answer to her.
yeah. So this is a really key piece. There's being willing to be the dominant entity and have the reality that works for you, that I see a lot of people not choosing. And that's a key thing to start to look at, is like, am I actually willing to be dominant here? Or am I putting myself at the effect of what I think is happening to me? Entities can't happen to you. They are like people. we have as many varieties of entities and as we have varieties of people. So you have asshole entities, evil entities, techie entities. You also have very kind and generous entities and beings of light and nature spirits. And there's this incredible diversity in the spirit world. So you can look at what you're putting yourself at the effect of in the spirit world and really go, am I also doing that with people? If you had a 5-year-old draping herself over your face, would you actually let her keep doing that, or would you choose something else? And do you only allow yourself those choices with beings that have bodies? And for what reason? You cannot be at the effect of an entity unless you're putting yourself at the effect of an entity. And so if that's something you continue to choose, you've got to ask, for what reason am I allowing this entity to run my life? Never mind. You're going to have to get off my face. Sorry. If you want to contribute, you can, but you have to do it in a different way. And that energy is the thing you use to change money. That's the thing you use to change your business. That's the energy you use to change relationships of like, I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me. So we're going to have to do this in a different way. So how much of your life are you putting yourself at the effect of? Seems to be the theme. And everything this is times a godzillion, can we destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, puck, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Let me know if there's more to that, I should go. And did you have more questions? Aish?
We have a comment on the Spanish chat, and it says, Claudia, I ran bars to a person and it has 7 days without sleeping. What is going on and what do I do about it?
Well, is it a problem or is it just something that's occurring?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, is it a problem or is it just something that's occurring? Do you understand occurring?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The moment you make something into a problem, and we tend to do that when it's something that's out of our ordinary, all of a sudden it's out of the ordinary and therefore it's a problem. Which is interesting because I don't know if you've been around access consciousness for any length of time, but everything about access consciousness is out of the ordinary. I don't know if you've noticed that when you have a headache, nobody says, oh, here, just take some Advil. If you ask a question about your headache, they ask you, well, what is it? It could be an alien. It might be an entity. You could be aware of the earth. You might be aware of a universe 18,000 kilometers away. Like, what is it is really, what is it? Hey, I'm not sleeping. Okay, cool. If I didn't make this into a problem, what else do I have the capacity to create? What amount of energy have I tapped into that I've never had before? What if I were willing to be curious about this and use it instead of try to fix it and fit it back into what I've decided is real? So everything that is times a godzillion, you destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Cool. Elizabeth said, yesterday something happened to me, and I'm gonna just insert comment here, which is that nothing happens to you. By the way, you create everything. So yesterday something happened to me and I related it to entities in the morning. A loud noise woke me up like a broken glass and only my son and I listened to it. Nothing had been broken. And at night I received the news that my uncle died. Cool. How does it get better than that? If you have a question about that, you can put it in the chat. Jessica said, there's a strong entity presence in my home, part of it being the people who built it. They aren't happy beings. I've tried to clear and communicate without much luck. And now I'm asking and selling, I'm selling and asking them to contribute. It very much affects the way I feel when I'm in my home. Not a good feeling. Once I was literally knocked out of a chair when facilitating this with someone else. I feel a huge loss now as how to clear them and haven't been able to receive clear communication. Okay, there's a lot there. But when you hear yourself saying something like, I have tried to clear and communicate with them without much luck, you can know that you have not actually been doing that. Because I want you to, all of you now, to try to stand up. Don't stand up, just try to stand up. You can either stand up or not stand up. There is no try to stand up. You're either going to stand up or you're not going to stand up. And the same is true of you're either going to clear or you're not clearing. And the only time entities don't respond to you is when you are not actually being congruent with what it is that's coming out of your mouth. When energetically you don't want to let them go, when energetically you want to be at the effect of things, when energetically you're more committed to being disempowered than being the empowered being that you could choose to be, then they won't go because you don't mean it. You're not being the thing that would create the change. Same is true about money, by the way. The same is true about your business. The same is true about your relationships. So I think with that particular conversation, we'd have to have more of a conversation live for me to get to the bit that's creating what's going on. But a lot of what that comment was I feel this, I've tried to, it's not working. The energy of this is hopeless and I can't. And from that energy, nothing can actually change. So what would you have to be willing to be in order to have a different reality with ease? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all land, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, cool. Any questions about that or any questions?
There are quite a few in Turkish chat, Christel, although you have answered, I think, for all of those, the one clearing applies, but there are a lot of people saying about fear, and one person saying she has this dark energy coming during the sleep from her behind, and let me see. And there are lots of visions that comes along with it. Does it have anything to do with the entity? Certain visions that comes with entities or not?
Okay, cool. So what are you making? We're going to go into and use the 10 keys to total freedom in every class you ever take with me, just so you guys know. Why? Because they're the keys to total freedom. Now, what are you making? What form, structure, and significance are you using to create your awareness into something you can be afraid of? Are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. What form, structure, and significance are you using to invent your awareness as something you need to avoid? Are you choosing? That was terrible English. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what need of fear are you using to never be as potent as you could choose to be? Are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So awareness just is. It doesn't matter what color the energy is. It doesn't matter if the energy has fangs. It doesn't matter if it's got blue eyes, or if it's 5, or if it's got a body shape or an amphibious shape, or if it's light energy or dark energy. It's not relevant. It's just energy. And this is where we can ask, would energy, can energy hurt you? Yes or no? It's energy. Can you assign the properties of hurtfulness to energy in order to invent something? Yes or no? Yes. So how much energy are you using to invent things that you want to believe can hurt you are you choosing? That was difficult. Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online, shorts, boys, and bands. Now, when I was a kid, I was about, I don't know, 8 years old, in bed. My bedroom was very messy. I don't think I could see the floor. Like, it was very messy. And I could probably go back and look at that and analyze it, but whatever. So when I would turn the lights off, I assumed, even though everything felt really creepy and my floor seemed really black and like it was crawling with black things, I assumed that I was just a kid afraid of the dark whose floor was really messy. And when the lights were turned out, it turned into this incredibly writhing black floor, because that's what I was told. I was told that I was afraid of the dark and what I was aware of wasn't what I was aware of. Well, when you fast forward like 35 years and I'm in my first Talk to the Entities class and I tell this story, because the energy of that and the sensation of the amount of beings that were on my floor hadn't left me. And I asked about it. She said, well, were there beings on your floor? Yes or no? And it was yes. And she said, were they demons or entities? And I said, they were demons. And there was lots of them. And they weren't there for my well-being. Now, could they hurt me without my permission? No. And so as a kid with no tools, what I did know is I had 2 angels with me. So it's funny how kids don't know, but they know. I had 2 angels that were on my team with me. They're big 12, they are still with me actually, big 12-foot beings with incredibly long, huge wings, covered in gray mouse hair. They're very soft. And so I would have them stand at the foot of my bed and stretch their wings around my bed, and so that I was encased in angel wings, and then I could go to sleep. But even then, with no information, I did the thing that I knew to do that was going to change it for me. And I got through that period of time to where I could get here 40 years later and have awareness of what I was actually aware of then. So what power and potency are you refusing that you truly could be choosing? That if you would choose it, even if it's fucking weird, would give you you. And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. So you can be aware of dark energies. That's a reality. We live on planet Earth. All energies are here with us. We have techies that are here to destroy us and the planet. We've got demons that are here to do a job and do whatever destruction they've been given a job to do. You know, we've got evil people that are here to do evil things. And we have really kind and generous people. And we've got generosity of spirit. And we've got the beings of light. And we've got the nature spirits. We have it all. How much of that have you been willing to be aware of? And anywhere you've cut off your awareness of what is in favor of the fantasy that you think will make you happier than that, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all land, shorts, boys and beyonds. It's just what is. It's like, okay, cool. There were demons all over my floor. How does it get any better than that? It turns out they weren't more powerful than me even then. So what have you given more power to that doesn't actually have more power than you? And everything that is, will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all land, shorts, boys and beyonds. Amel said, I'm regularly dreading people that I don't know, having like adventures. When I asked questions, I received awareness that I was contributing to them and healing. Can you tell me more about what is possible, or I'm aware of something else that I didn't acknowledge yet? Amel, are you here? Can you speak about this? I didn't fully understand your English. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm here. So yeah, sometimes I'm dreaming regularly. I'm having like a
Oh,
long
dreaming.
dreams.
You wrote dreading. That's a very different
I'm
thing.
sorry. Oh my God, it's always like this with this character. My phone is just saying whatever they want to say. So no, it's dreaming, dreaming. I'm dreaming, and I have like adventure dream, and I'm
Cool.
seeing in my dreams like people that I never saw before, and so it was quite regular, and I was asking question about that, and I received healing. So I don't know if it's possible, or am I aware about something else? I didn't have the entity class yet, so I don't have a lot of knowledge about that. But yeah, if you can tell me more about that, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to ask some more questions. I mean, all of us have these abilities with things that nobody else knows about. Like, if it makes you lighter, it's true. If you ask, am I healing other people in my dreams? Yes. Okay, cool. How can I use this? Am I healing people in this dimension or in other dimensions? Other dimensions. Okay, great. Is it fun? Do I want to keep doing it? Again, when you're willing for everything to be a possible thing, every bit of information is a possible thing, every kind of being is a possible thing, it's all it is awareness of, and then what can I do with it? How do I use this more consciously? Because if this is something I've been doing in my dreams and while I'm asleep, is this something I can bring into my waking world? Is this even useful to me? If I have it as an ability, I can't get rid of it. So how do I use this in a totally different way? If it's not a problem that you're dreaming about other people and healing them, and it's just what occurs, then how does it get any better than that?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah. And there's a Turkish comment in the English Zoom chat that I can't read. Let's see here. Jessica said, ever since I was a small child, I've had a huge awareness of nature spirits that has grown so much stronger since finding Talk to the Entities. I wonder if they are here to be helpers, maybe co-facilitating a healing of the earth, or maybe just growing the awareness of me. Do they usually have a specific job? With everything unseen, every kind of being, I can't go to my cognitive brain. I have to ask a question, which is a real gift. So, do they usually have a specific job? Yes or no? No, is what I get. So, what are they here to contribute? And what gift can they be to you? And one thing I know about consciousness, all beings of consciousness, including nature spirits, is they don't function from any separation. And they don't function, the specificity of separation is not a reality. That's something that we as human beings have created. And so what gift are they and what can you receive? And yeah, how does it get any better than that?
So we have something on the Spanish chat.
Yes.
It says, if we live with a person that has a lot of entities, can they come to us?
Yes. I don't think the question was asked with that amount of lightness, but yeah. I mean, you're the person who's willing to be aware of entities, so they'll talk to you, you'll notice them. They might want to be in your body, but all you have to do, guys, is say, no, not in my body. You guys are going to have to talk to me between the hours of 9 and 11. That's it. Don't wake me up at night. In fact, when you're in bed with us, get out of bed with us because I need to sleep. You can come and talk to me in the morning between these hours, and that's it. That's how I would handle that.
And it says, oh, sorry. Okay. How do you tell kids to manage fear when they're in the dark?
Well, you've got to inform your kids about what fear is. We've got to start giving our kids the actual information, which means we have to be willing to know the actual information. If we entertain fear as though it's real, they're going to continue to buy that it's real. If we begin to say, well, fear, honey, is this weird thing called a distractor implant, and it always covers up potency. It always covers up what's really true for you. So, you have an educated conversation with your kid. They're not stupid. They're just big beings in small bodies. So what do you need to educate yourself about that you can then have a conversation with your kid about?
I think someone in Turkish opened the chat.
I think you're right.
Shall I translate that Turkish
Yes,
question?
can you ask them to mute themselves?
Arkadaşlar kendinizi sessize alabilir misiniz kim açıksa? Okay, the question is when she perceives an entity in the grown-ups, she's clearing them up, and that person gets healed. What I don't know what she means, but that person gets healed very quickly, and this is a very interesting experience for her. That's Nurai's comment. I think I don't see a question.
Okay, cool. How does it get any better than that? Okay, cool.
We have one here. It says, when a person is just really all of a sudden really aggressive, can it be the effect of an entity and then they get really cold?
Sure, yeah. You just have to ask. Like with all of this stuff, with all of this awareness stuff that's unseen, you got to ask a question. So is this an entity or something else? Is a great question. Is this a demon or something else? And if you get that it's an entity, use the entity clearing that I said once on this call. And also you can read in a Talk to the Entities manual, a foundation manual, or the book. And if it's a demon, you do the demon clearing, which is go back to from whence you came, never to return to me, to him, his body, or this reality. Go back to from whence you came, never to return to him, his body, or this reality until that energy changes. Now, what I'll say about clearing something from somebody else's body is that if they want it there, it will come back. You can clear it and create a change for you to make your life easier. And if they're committed to having those beings in their body, unconsciously or consciously, those beings will come back. So that's just something to be aware of. One more question here, Crystal. So waking up extremely exhausted could be related to being in other dimensions, entities healing when I'm asleep. It could be, but we haven't asked a question, so we don't know what's going on. The 4 questions, you guys, that you're going to get in foundation that everybody skips over and tries to go to conclusions instead are, hey, what is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how can I change it? So I would encourage you to not come to conclusion about what's going on, but ask questions, because the questions are actually going to give you more awareness of what's actually going on. The conclusion will stick you with something that you can't get over if you decide it's that. If I'm ruminating, especially at night, are those entities or distractor implants? That's not actually a question. That's a conclusion with a question mark at the end. So if I'm ruminating, what is this? What am I aware of? Can I change it? And how can I change it? Okay, as a kid, I played with imaginary friends. I was more comfortable giving make-believe concerts and having fun friendships than participating in the real world. In the mental health care world, they call that coping, as I grew up with abuse and bullying. Can you speak about capacities that get developed in those circumstances? Well, the one bit of information that really helped me towards the beginning of my journey was getting that I came in with the capacities that I have. I didn't develop them through abuse. And that was a big piece of information for me, because my childhood was also very abusive, and I was very bullied at school, and I had all the things go on as a kid. And so I thought that I came to the conclusion that I must have needed what I went through in order to develop the capacities I have now. But you'll notice that's not very light. And what's light is true. And so when somebody asked me, did you develop them through your childhood, or did you come in with these abilities? Coming in with these abilities was lighter. And so what abilities have you come in with that you haven't yet claimed as yours? And everything that is times a godzillion, we you destroy and create it all.
Yes.
Run, goodbye, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and guns. So, you know, I mean, human beings are not that fun as a species. They're really not that interesting. They're quite boring. And so were you just doing what worked? Oh, and somebody decided to share their screen. Okay, thank you. Cool. Yeah, so as you can see, this is a massive conversation, and there are so many different facets and so many different questions. And I want to invite you to Talk to the Entities class anywhere you are in the world, and of course with me. You can go to accessconsciousness.com/Christel Crawford, and you can find all the Talk to the Entities classes I have going on. There's one happening in South Africa next week, I think. And we've got one in Mauritius happening after that. In June, I believe Turkey is occurring. We have one in Turkey. There's so many. There's going to be one in the States. So again, it doesn't have to be me, but if this is a topic that you get is either you're resisting or you can't get enough of, I really encourage you to find a Talk to the Entities class near you. This is a body of work that for me has opened up receiving in a way that I didn't know was possible for me. And it keeps expanding and making my world greater in ways that no other access class has. So I'm incredibly grateful. And I'm really grateful for your questions and for you guys showing up here and creating this conversation with me. And oh yeah, Buenos Aires in April. Oh yeah, Maine. So my hosts are like, we're here. So anyway, you'll find all those classes on my access profile, but I'm so grateful for you, and hopefully this was a contribution. And what else is possible? What are you truly capable of that you can begin to wonder about and choose? And everything that doesn't allow it times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. You're so welcome, you guys. So that's it for now. Hopefully I'll get to see you around the world. Huge gratitude for my translators and my hosts and all of you guys for being you. And we'll see you soon.